I'm Johnny Lieberman, and you're watching LNP. What does LNP stand for?
Late Night Playset.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've been on there. Yeah, it's a good show. You should like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
You trim your beard. You look great. And he did a shave. Everybody looks great. What's up, you guys? Kurt must be here. What's happening, Mrs.? If I bought you... Oh, no, hang on. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that, and I won't put it up on the screen. So I will say that right now. If you tuned in on Tuesday, just keep it to yourselves. All right, back to the show. Let's see. Let's get you in here. Hi, Mrs.
Hello.
What's happening with you?
Hanging on.
Let's start it up, everybody. Tonight is Thursday, September 16th, 2021. My name is Jay Ryan. This lady over here is Nicole Ryan. We are very happy to be with you. It's Tradecraft Thursday, and our fantastic guest this evening is somebody we've been trying to get here for a while. He's a friend. He is very well known in the car community, and he is a specialist over at C.A.R.S. He's wiping his eyes right now. Can't believe he's here. It's Tony Rackley, everybody. Tony Rackley's going to be in here in just a few minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to be talking about a few things. One of which is, a lot of people have made comments, where's the Tuesday show? If you caught it live, you caught something special because it will never be seen again. It will never be talked about again by me. Just removing ourselves from the equation. It's that simple. So sorry about that, but we're back now. It's Thursday. And let's see. Some things we talked about on Tuesday didn't get to go out, and we need to talk about him, and one of which is our friend Norm MacDonald passed away. Not our personal friend, although you worked with him and I worked with him a long time ago. But comedy is reeling this week with the loss of Norm MacDonald. And on Tuesday it was fresh, and I was like verklempt about it in the whole bit. I've had a couple days, but I think it's weighing on me more than I thought it would. Remember Gary Shandling? That one killed me. I think this is a little bit.
A little bit. Unexpected shit always feels worse somehow.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's 61 and battling cancer for a good 9 years, which is sad as can be, but yet I kind of get it. My dad had cancer when I was a kid and died of it, and he didn't want anybody to know until they absolutely had to, like the very end kind of thing.
Yeah, everyone I used to know is shot. Like, they had no idea.
Right. Somebody put up some, comedians reacting to Norm MacDonald's death, like Anthony, is it Jeselnik? He was on the Howie Mandel podcast live when it flashed up on the screen, and they were all like, "Oh my god!" So everyone's reacting to it. There's all these videos of people reacting, and it seems like no matter what level of comedy you're at, or it seems like almost it doesn't matter what corner of the entertainment industry you're part of, everybody is affected by Norm MacDonald. Like, he really was somebody who was, he's in your mind, even though he's not one of the big guys like Jerry with the sitcoms and everything. I mean, it's hard to describe. He's sort of in between the lines, even though he's such a big deal.
Yeah, and he brought everyone into his world, so he was part of everyone's. Like,
oh, that's true. He was very loving. He told all his friends he loved them all the time.
I remember that, and like, he put a friend of mine in Grown Ups. Like, I had no idea. I've seen them.
Norm put a friend of yours in Grown Ups?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, he was involved with the scene, so, but he worked with her too. Like, he's a really warm dude, and like, that seems to be what's falling out of everyone, from executives to actors and comedians that worked with them.
One thing that we brought up the other day. Well, do you remember the last time? Well, how about that? Do you remember any Norm MacDonald memories that you want to share?
Just that he was very cool with photo shoots, like open to whatever the photographer wanted to do, and very trusting, and didn't drive. So I always had to work that into whatever we were doing.
He didn't drive. He didn't have a driver's license. I don't believe he ever drove. And I actually said that on Tuesday, but apparently the YouTube algorithm heard me say it because it popped up the Jay Leno's Garage, where he put Norm in a car like Kayla Marzo's, and then he drove it around the track. But he didn't know how to do it. He was like, the left one or the right one? I mean, all the stuff. It was great. It was great. He got up to 24 miles an hour or something. It was hilarious. So highly recommend checking that out. Also, for me personally, when I was a kid, and we talk about all this stuff back when I was at 30 Rock, when I was a kid, like a senior in high school, I was working on Saturday Night Live then, and Norm MacDonald was on the show then. And then a couple years later, I went back, and I was like freelancing there as well, and he was already doing the Weekend Update at that point. And some of my fondest memories, I told this the other day. It was actually Conan, when he was guesting on Conan. He worked upstairs at Saturday Night Live on the 8th floor, but he would come down frequently to do appearances on Conan. And his stand-up was always great, but his panel was what always got all of the... You just didn't know what was going to happen. The stand-up was like, oh, that's a routine. The panel, you just didn't know what was going to happen, because that's all Norm. All Norm on the fly. And my favorite one, and I mentioned this the other day, but since then, Team Coco, the official YouTube channel for Conan, has put it up. There is a segment, and the irony is, it's not even Norm's segment of the panel. It's an actress by the name of Courtney Thorne-Smith. Courtney Thorne-Smith, that's right, not Tiffany Thiessen Amber. Courtney Thorne-Smith from Melrose Place. And she was the guest, and Norm's on the couch next to her because he had already been out doing panel. Oh my God, you guys. It is one of the funniest things I've ever seen, solely because of the ridiculousness of it all. It's ridiculous. He's shitting on her while she's there to promote the movie. He's crapping on the movie. It was so funny, and I highly recommend. It's a great way to see just 5 minutes of how Norm MacDonald's brain works. Also, I was not there for these, but any of the Norm MacDonald on the Conan O'Brien Tonight Show, the short-lived Conan O'Brien Tonight Show, he made a number of appearances in those only several months, and they are all memorable. There's something very, very jivey in every single one that's so good that you're just like, Norm, I can't believe you did that. You are the best. You are the freaking best. That moth joke? Are you kidding? I made you watch that one? Hilarious! Like 4 minutes of setup for a joke that you're a dad joke, and it's so good. Eating up network airtime for that. It's not like internet time. I mean, this airs free. Other than all of our time, this airs free. Network airtime's expensive. Oh my goodness. Norm MacDonald, R.I.P., buddy. Nami. Let's see, what should we watch? The Comedians in Cars episode with him is probably pretty good. That one was great.
Oh, I bet.
In the vintage, the unrestored 356. And then, any of the Norm MacDonald podcast, we have them all on the media server. I don't know where you can find them, but it's the show that predated his Netflix show. It ran for like 3 seasons, and it's great. It's so good. It's just a podcast. It's just a video podcast, but it's so great because of him.
I have to watch that.
We love you, Normie. Okay, switching gears here just a little bit. Hello, Harpo Raw Wagon. Triple caution. Good day, Ryan family. Analog Speed is here. Hello, Taylor. First flat 6. Chairman of the board. Yeah, you know it too. I bet the board. Well, I don't want to give it away. But the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D. He did hurt Burt Reynolds. He did Burt Reynolds better than Burt. Yeah, it was so good.
I've seen that picture of him with the cowboy hat a bunch.
That's it. So I was there for a lot of those. I was literally there in Studio 8H for a lot of those, and I mistakenly attributed the wrong writer the other day, but it was Steve Higgins, as I recall, who wrote all those fake Jeopardies. And anything that you saw on the show, like some of them are pretty risque and pretty funny. Anything you saw, I guarantee, in dress or at least in writing previously, they were way worse.
Yeah.
You know, that whole, like, let's see how far we can go, and then the censors pull it back. It was that kind of thing.
It's kind of what he does.
Really great.
And he's so smart. Like, he's wicked smart and fast and quick, so he put everything together.
Norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's funny, you know, because the oversized hat. Oh, God, so great.
And you see in his face, he takes such delight in the laughter of other people. It's so heartwarming.
All right, changing gears for a second. Back to GVBC, and more specifically, what are you driving today? We were very lucky last week to begin production on season 2 of What Are You Driving Today? And the car we got was a Herbie the Love Bug. And we drove Herbie the Love Bug last week, and it was pretty crazy and awesome because I knew it. I obviously set it up, but I hadn't told her. And Guards Rad and I both knew. And so we watched the 3 nights previous. We watched the first 3 Herbie movies. She was probably like, "What the fuck is with you? Like, why are you doing this? We're not buying a Volkswagen. What's your deal?" But then when driving up on Friday morning, I said, "So there's a little bit of a surprise up here. Number 53 is going to be meeting us for What Are You Driving Today?" And she was like, "Oh, no way, that's crazy." And then when we got there, Herbie the Love Bug showed up, and it's just a replica. It's not a screen-used car, but it is done correctly in every way. I ran into this guy with Jay Leno up at the Malibu Mart there, and we got to know him there, and he said, "Oh, I'd love to have it on the show," whatever. So he came out. We had a grand old time shooting the show, David and I. You'll see that soon. But after we came back, I took Mrs. Ryan for a ride in Herbie, and that was the best part. Her smile in that car was sick. You can't even imagine.
It was so magical. Unexpectedly magical. In that car there, it was amazing.
Yeah. So good news on that. As I mentioned the other day, you know, we do one for free. There's 11 episodes total for the season. We do one for free, and then the next 10 we are soliciting sponsorship for. But I will tell you this. I just locked down today 3 spectacular cars for What Are You Driving Today? And while you won't see them for a while, I'm going to tell you what they are because they're truly not to be believed. A screen-used Kit from Knight Rider.
No.
The real car. One of the real cars from the show. A real General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard show. Real, screen used from the show, not the movie, the show. And you're not going to believe this. A screen used Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Come on.
I've seen pictures.
This is
all
awesome.
Real, all very real. All very real. And those
So
will be coming up
awesome.
soon on What Are You Driving Today? So if you want to sponsor any of those shows, send me a message or send Guards Rads a message, and we'll put something together. We're trying to find somebody to do the whole season, but that's a lot of money for one little organization. So if people want to do, you know, we'll break it down. It doesn't matter to us. We don't care. We don't care. We just want your money. Give us your money. I'm just kidding. It's so not us. It's so not us. But I'm really excited about those cars. So that's what's going on with that. And okay, we've gotten. Let's see, it's to Thursday with very little updates on Yellowcar. Yellowcar 2.0 is almost done. Almost done. The car is back together. There are still some things to do. I think we're waiting on the BBI suspension parts from BBI Autosport. And I think Marco wants to dyno it before and after the plenum so he can tell other people what, you know, when he recommends that part to people, he can, well, look, we did it over here and it was 20 horsepower, 30 horsepower, whatever it is. So he wants to do that as well. And that's what the delay is. It's just that. Pretty soon we'll have Yellowcar back, and I can't wait. I can't wait for that. I'm nervous about all of the things. I'm nervous about nervous about paying this bill, but it's all going to be great. And having that car back in a completely new form is going to be amazing. Because just going there and seeing it, like, you know how the car has energy, like Herbie the Love Bug, that car has energy. It's different. It's different when you go see it now. It's like, oh, it's the same car, but it's like,
I get a different feeling just from the pictures you post.
Why is that? How is that possible?
I don't know, but I can't wait to meet it again.
So crazy.
So cool.
I think it kept us safe for so long while it was not running well that it's like really enjoying the TLC it's getting over at TLG.
I think so too.
And since we're the people that personify automobiles. Ariel says, hi, friends. Delighted I can finally join you live. Hello, Ariel. It's so nice to see you. So nice to see you. It was lovely having you and Raiden Motors over here for that movie night. That was a lot of fun. And then our guest tonight is the only guy who wasn't there, and he's coming into the next one. He goes, where was my own? I said, you're so far away. Everybody we invited was like within 5 minutes. He was like, well, I got a car. It's like, shit. It's a really good point. Although if it was an actual party, we really started inviting, and then where does that stop? This is not a very big place. You can't tell that from looking at this television show we do here, but it's really not a very big place. Are you okay? How are you doing this week? We talked on Tuesday, but I'd like to check in again. How are you feeling?
My legs are horrible, but otherwise I'm fine. I've made some really good progress, so it's hard to delineate between the two, but...
The pain on the legs. It's pain?
It's just such extreme weakness that it causes pain everywhere else. So I'm dealing with muting that so I can function.
And it's the type of, it's not like you can stretch it out, right? Because if you stretch, it almost makes it worse later.
Makes it worse later, and it tires me out so fast.
That's so sad.
It's ridiculous. Whatever.
Be More Like Steve says, what are your thoughts about the new Acura that's coming out in 2022? Tell me about it. I need more info. Which one? I just found out today that the Grand Prix of Long Beach is now the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. Did you know that? It was Toyota for years and years. Acura is... Aren't they Toyota? Honda, that's right. Lexus, Toyota.
Yeah.
So it's like the Honda Grand Prix now? Are they still doing the celebrity races? Will there be an Infinity celebrity race like they used to the Toyota Grand Prix? Remember they used to...
I have no idea.
Did you ever do that?
No.
Or did you... Oh, you never went to the race?
Oh, yeah, every year.
Oh, they used to do they used to do the celebrity races the day before on Saturday, and it was always fun. It was like Frankie Muniz and Mario Lopez, anybody Rutledge Wood, all of the celebrities who race cars as well. Like Jason Bateman used to do it. Brandon Walsh from 90210 used to do it all the time.
Cool.
What's his name? Jason Priestley. Brandon Walsh. Huge thanks to TLG for getting our Yellowcar 2.0 going. You've seen the post this week. Bilstein US. Thank you. The coilovers are on the car, and I can't wait to get the car on the ground. Michelin US. The tires are on the car. Can't wait to get the car on the ground. Everybody else, my gosh. FD Motorsports. Thank you for that. In talking to Darren, we agreed that titanium would be the better exhaust tip because black is sort of, I don't know, it didn't work for either one of us. But in sending the exhaust tips, they accidentally sent two of one side. So we had to send those back, and then the only other ones they had to send out immediately were black. So we're going to have black tips. I don't know if it's permanent or temporary. I'm kind of hoping it's temporary, but whatever happens. But the FD Motorsports exhaust is on. Can't wait to get the car on the ground. And then coming up next is the IPD plenum and GT3 throttle body. Is that it? No, there's one other thing. The Osco lightweight flywheel and Sachs
cool.
clutch kit. That's all in as well. Can't wait to get the car on the ground. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. I have a couple quick East Coast feeds to play, and then I think maybe we'll skip the TBT because you know me. Ryan E. Media SoCal, hello. EM615, hello. Auto Kennel Integra. Oh, the new Integra. Oh, man, am I excited about that. Yeah. But I haven't seen pictures of it. Have you guys seen pictures of it? The Integra was a car from my childhood. I mean, that was a car that we all wanted and aspired to. My first car was a Honda Accord hatchback. And sort of had the look of the Integra, but it was not. 87 Honda Accord hatchback. DX, folks. DX. No air, no radio. Had a pop-up glass leaky sunroof that some previous owner had put into it. Blue on blue. That's correct. Blue on blue. 87 DX Honda Accord. I got the bra for it on the front. So you arm roll the bra, and the bra looked good. So stupid. The car had dents in it, and it was not even shiny. But I was like, oh, look at the bra on the front. Oh, it looks great, yeah. So stupid. The stuff we did. You will love the FD. Yeah, I can't wait. Everybody who has it, I love the sound of their car. So when Darren was willing to jump on board, I was stoked. I am stoked. I'm thrilled. Don't let me, the black tips are one thing, but I'm stoked about the exhaust. Obviously, it's huge. 87 Accord LXI. Oh, yeah. They were exactly the same, just had options. Yours probably had power windows. Maybe a real sunroof. Definitely a radio and AC, I bet. Okay, East Coast Pete. These are funny, and they're from this morning, so I'm deciding to play them. Whatever we had last week, we'll shelf it. We'll do it next week.
Great.
But this is East Coast Feed from Danbury Chive. He's at Ridgefield BMW in Ridgefield, Connecticut. And he'll tell you what's going on. Roll it out.
COVID mandates on.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Ryan. East Coast Feed coming to you live from BMW. Yachty has had her run of Karens and Kens in the past 2 days. So currently, if you can see, I don't know if you can see behind us, there's an office back there with 2 police officers and a customer who just won't walk out because
freaking crazy.
he literally won't leave. He has his feet up on the chairs. The cops are here.
He does look like Bernie Sanders.
He doesn't like Bernie Sanders. We're not really sure if it's him or not. He does have the mittens, so we're really not sure about that. But anyway, if you see, I'm going to try to see if I can get a better close-up over here. Hold on, see if I can get to where the cops and stuff are. Let's take a look, see if we can see it. No, oh, damn it, they're bringing this way. All right, I got to go. Love you guys.
Oh my God.
I mean, right?
This is nuts.
Quick follow-up. Roll it out.
Trying to give you a little part two if I can get a glimpse into the office as I go by with all the cops and the guy. Yeah, there it is. You got all that? Oh, there you go. Woo! Part 2.
Blue! Yep, that's what's going on at BMW Ridgefield today.
Whoa, that's a day.
They're all about customer service over there, so I can't even imagine what happened because like they'll do anything for anybody to make it right. You know, it's a huge, beautiful factory store. Like they want to make sure everything's good. So when somebody's that
So
upset,
out
it's
of
crazy.
character.
So if you are in the Fairfield County area or Westchester County area, by all means, come on over and say hi to Steve Kaz over at Ridgefield BMW. He's in service. Go say hello. Look for that. What's that Nightmare Before Christmas mask? Seems to be what he's wearing these days. Okay, let's do some commercials and get our guest in here right on time.
Can I have my pen first, please?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. It didn't even occur to me because yeah. Sorry. Why don't you? Can I do the commercials and I'll get it during the break?
Wait.
Would that be okay? It'll be like 30 seconds.
No rush now that I know it's not here.
They say. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. It was my fault. I was talking to our guest and I should have put it out there. They say all that separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. St. Clair Insurance has coverage for your toys. In this case, we're talking about automobiles and automobile coverage. Insurance coverage, that is. St. Clair Insurance shops the top providers so you get the best coverage. If I were you, I'd check out St. Clair Insurance at coverageforyourtoys.com, coverageforyourtoys.com.
Coverageforyourtoys.com.
Also, if I haven't mentioned it lately, the best bubbles in the world are made by Bubbletree. America's Bubble Company. No, the American Bubble Company. That would make them America's Bubble Company, right? And last but not least, this is Jay Ryan from Late Night Playset, reminding you to please like, subscribe, and comment below. This feeds the internet algorithm and eventually us as well. Be a pal and like, subscribe, and comment below. It'll be fire. The smoke coming out from behind me denotes fire. Look at that fire. Ridiculous. That's it, right? We're good? Can I do it?
I believe so.
All right. Take a quick break. We're going to play these few words from our friends at Oh So Delicious Hot Sauce. The hot sauce made by bears. And when we return, Tony Rackley will be sitting right here. She'll have a pen to medicate with, and the show will go on. More to come right after this.
Oh, so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by bears. Garlic and serrano mixed with love and care. You can put it on your eggs, pour it on your rice. It's great on a leg, it's better on a slice. It's oh so delicious. It's the hot sauce made by bears. Oh, so delicious hot sauce. Great on everything except oatmeal.
Get your bottle today at ohsodelicious.org. $1 from every bottle sold goes to the National Military Family Association.
There you go. What are you driving today? 63 356B. Hey, 111. What are you driving today? Here we go.
Don't need to stick it. He's already got it. My car's gonna feel slow as balls after this. I'll tell you that. Pedal down. Yeah, baby. It's the finest question I've ever heard. Oh, and just because, let's roll this again. Oh, stick it down. Yeah. And with that, we are back here with Mr. Tony Rackley. Hello, my friend.
Hello, mate.
Bring
How
this
are you?
over to you. Make yourself comfortable however you like. And I am really excited you're here because I've wanted you here for a long time. But
I don't know why. That's pretty crazy. But anyway, yeah.
But not for any specific reason. Solely because I'm so fond of you as a person that I wanted to share
Thank you, likewise.
energy with you, space and time on the show.
Which is actually quite surreal because recently I've been watching lots of David Letterman and the fact that you have some of his stuff here is really quite surreal indeed.
When we were on the porch with Leno the other day, you said you had been watching him on early Letterman,
early
right?
Leno, which is really great. He's obviously coming from England. I didn't grow up with Jay Leno, so I've only known him as an old white-haired guy. Now I see him as this young Elvis with the Elvis and collars and the arms all rolled up, and it's really quite with jackets.
He was
it's really
pushing
quite funny.
When he had to, when he was young, up and coming.
Yeah.
He was one of the funniest stand-ups there ever was, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the stuff he was saying then is still relevant. It's funny.
Yeah. So I'm just happy you're here is really
Thank
it.
you.
I don't
Happy
have
to
an
be
agenda.
here.
There's nothing to specifically talk about. Obviously, we have things we can go over.
Oh, okay.
But most specifically,
And traffic today was nothing. I was gifted. One of the things that's been putting me off because I'm down south and then having to come all
This
the
is
way
not
through
close.
through downtown and all the naughtiness, today was a breeze. There's a holiday on.
what's the holiday? Oh, it is a huge
Yes,
holiday, especially
yes.
here in LA.
One of your new ones.
Yeah, I only recently found out. I may be part of the tribe.
Ah,
Isn't that something?
very.
Who knew? How about you?
Who knows?
Are you
Part of me's a mystery, so I want to leave it at that.
I was going to ask, are you a European mutt type of sort of thing, or?
I only know my mother's side, so old Irish from Cork. The Kellys are Cork.
Old Irish before England?
My great-great-grandfather came from Ireland.
No kidding.
But on my grandmother's side, yeah.
Huh.
But I don't know my grandfather. He was just old London. They went back centuries.
What the hell brought you out here? How did you get here?
Hang
on. Where the fuck do we start? Because I want to talk about your childhood because I know what kind of kid you were.
I was a kid. Yeah, I was a kid.
I know what kind of kid you were.
I was a kind kid. Yeah. I grew up in South London. Poor working class, council estate, which is over here is like projects, you call them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, projects. So, government funded housing, stuff like that. Single mother. My father was close by, and we were very close. But my mum brought up my brother and I up. So, things were tight as kids growing up. So, and the funny thing is, I grew up in the early 70s having a thing for America. Because of TV. One of the big factors was the fact that my dad was a truck driver, and a movie came out called Convoy.
I love that movie. Chris
Christopherson.
Love that
and
we got
that
Convoy.
that whole vibe got me buzzed. And as a 12-year-old, my dad bought me an American lorry truck, a model, a 1/8 scale model with a thing. And he ended up buying me a couple more, and he did them all in a fleet, so I had them all in the same color scheme. And that on top of having...
Is that your phone?
Yeah, why is my phone?
That's hilarious.
I've turned it down.
I'm glad that's what it is, though. I thought it was somebody in the other room playing music. That would have been weird.
I just turned it down. That's so bizarre. Anyway, so so that kind of got me the juices flowing for America, and then I was into skateboarding as well.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you're the perfect recipient for these new Magnus Walker shoes.
Yeah,
these skateboarding
exactly.
shoes.
Yeah. I've yet to go out on my skateboard. It's been a few years, but I have a skateboard, and I keep looking at it, and I keep looking people skateboard past my house. And I'm thinking one day I'm going to go back out. Because I had a long hiatus from skateboarding until I was 40. And my wife at the time bought me a skateboard for my birthday. And I thought, okay, we'll go to the beach. We had a great day. And almost got away with it. But coming back where I lived in Santa Monica, there was a little hill. I went, let me just have a little pop down there. I went down there, and all of a sudden I got a bit of speed wobble and rolled over, smacked all
Oh,
my arm
shit.
up. But I wouldn't go to hospital and wouldn't admit pain at that day. I didn't want to ruin my birthday. So I struggled through the night, laying in there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I went, sweetheart, you better take me to hospital.
Oh, 'cause you're in that much pain?
I was in that much pain.
Oh, jeez.
But I didn't want to go to hospital on my birthday. I didn't want to be in. So I thought, just man up and just carry on. And went out that night and struggled.
And that's how we got to America.
But so Escape America things and just all thing Americans. You know, all the shows, obviously, like you just mentioned, Dukes of Hazzard and Knight Rider.
Oh,
Chips.
that's what I grew up with.
Chips was one of the big
huge.
ones as well. You know.
Ponch and John.
Exactly, because it made California. It was always sunny. It was always beautiful women, and cars were shiny and big. And I could have some of that one day. And I never thought it would ever happen. And then one winter's night, it was freezing cold, and it was Friday night. The other mechanics I was a young mechanic working in a garage, and this lady came in, and she had broken down. Her car had stopped, and it was pouring down with rain, freezing cold. No one wanted to help her because she was unattractive, you know. So I said, I'd help you, love, and I was 24 years old. I went out, couldn't fix the car. It was funny enough, it was a little Fiat 124 left-hand drive on Florida plate, so it had come from America. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't fix it. I knew what the problem was. I said, jump in the car, push it back. And being a tiny car, pushed it back to the shop. Completely soaked. And then I fixed the car a week later. She was so appreciative. She said, if you ever want to go to America, I have a place for you to stay. I went, wow. And that was like my Willy Wonka golden ticket moment. I said, yeah.
It's all you ever wanted.
I'll have some of that. So I just saved solidly for 6 months. Bless you. And then got myself a visitor's visas for 6 months, and off I went.
When was that?
1990, April 1990. I had no clue what I was going to do. I didn't know it. I mean, I knew these people.
How old were you at the time?
24.
24 years old, moving out. You're moving across country.
I've never left my mum's. I'd lived with my mum until that point.
Holy smokes.
You know, mum was cooking me dinner every night until that point. You know what I mean? So it's like, well,
That's
I
a
am
big
going
job.
out on my own.
I'm having a go, yeah. And I hated being. I mean, I'm proud of being working class because it gives me roots. Mm-hmm. But I hated being looked down upon.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hated being the bottom rung of the ladder.
Class system.
The class system. I dated a bird who was middle class, and her parents never accepted the fact that I was a greasy mechanic. You know what I mean? So it was like, nah. So I wouldn't.
Doesn't even matter how much money you make.
Nah,
the fact that that's your
how
trade.
intelligent you are. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So, as soon as I had this opportunity to come to America, I said, I'm off. I'm running on travels. So off I come. I arrive, and funny enough, when I arrive, this young kid picks me up from the airport, a friend of the people that had invited me, and they said, they want to charge you rent.
I've got a place for you to stay, but you've got to.
As I arrive, we got to pay you. We got to charge you rent. They're like, you're having a laugh, and yeah. So,
it's fine and all, but that is a different.
yeah.
It's not what
So
I
that was
expected.
basically my introduction to America and realism. You know, yeah, this is it. This is no free ride here. You know, you're having you're having a little giggle here, but no, this is real. So, I actually got a job, and I was actually a mechanic for a couple of weeks, but I hated doing it because they were Germans proclaiming to be Mercedes specialists and ripping people off. And because I was the Brit, I was now going to be the Jaguar specialist. So I weren't having none of that. And then I was playing cricket one Sunday, and all the Brits I met said, get a job on a boat. I said, what are you talking about, get a job on a boat? I said, I had no boating experience. The ferry across the Thames, that's my only boating experience as a kid. They said, no, just wing it. They loved the accent. So next thing I know, I'm on a 70-foot motor yacht.
Where was the place in
Fort Lauderdale.
Whoa! So you went to Miami, your first stop in in
which
the
is
US?
surreal. So I'm looking at that picture now and seeing the grid of lights.
Yeah.
And that's how my first impression of America was, this grid of Miami, you know. And it's like, wow.
Because you're looking down from the plane.
Yeah, and when you fly over London, it's all these zigzags and all these old curvatures and really weird shapes. But there was like, yeah, wow. So so I arrived 1990, got myself a job on a boat, and then
doing what? Like what?
I was the engineer, but I was a day
got
worker.
a job as the ship's engineer.
Yeah, no. Initially, I was just a day worker helping the engineer, just do this, do that.
Oh, okay.
But we weren't doing anything because the captain would come in at 8 and he would leave at 8:20.
Yeah.
The owners of the boat were here in Sherman Oaks. Funny enough.
Weird.
Yeah, weird. Some old guy had built the boat down in Costa Mesa, had gone across to the Mediterranean, done a couple of circles of that, and was on its way back. So I joined it on its leg back to California.
I'm into nautical stuff. What kind of boat was it?
It was a Willard 70-foot motor yacht. It was a trawler yacht, so it was a narrow beam. It was only 9 foot, so it was a real roly-poly boat.
It is weird.
Yeah.
9-foot beam for a 74-foot boat?
Yeah. And only did 9.5 knots.
That's
so
very long and narrow for the.
No, not 9. Was it 9 foot? Well, maybe, yeah, I think it was very narrow. We had stabilizers on it, but it didn't stop us from getting jiggly. Yeah. It was,
okay.
No, there was times I was sitting at the bridge, like it was my watch, and I'm sitting there, and it was seas were so rough, I was almost crying, going, "Why did I do this? Well, I'm stupid. I just want to be on a flat surface, smooth."
Is like this wheel watch? Everyone would have to take their turn at wheel watch.
Yeah, every 4 hours you do watch. It's like. Actually, we left Fort Lauderdale and we only made it to Miami. We broke down. It's only 100 miles down the road.
It's not even. It's less than an hour in a car.
but yes, we broke down. Like we only So anyway, I fixed the boat the next day, and the captain actually added work to it because all it was a pump that overheated if the impeller had sheared off. But
impeller, not the propeller.
Impeller inside. So me trying to. Look at it and diagnose what's going on, and I say to the skipper through the tannoy phone, "Okay, start the engine up." And I hear this almighty scream, and I walk into the engine room and it smelled like someone who'd been welding. And what the smell? Anyway, didn't think nothing of it. The next day, I fixed the water pump. As we go to leave, and later in the afternoon, go to start the other engine that was running. And what happened is he tried to start the engine while it was doing 1800 RPM, so he took all the teeth off the starter motors, and it was a big 32 volt. Massive thing that was down the bilge, and you needed to come along to get it out. So that was, and luckily he just got to the Caterpillar dealer.
You ever have the car on already and you turn it and go, "Gah!"
Yeah, that horrible noise, that feeling.
RPMs up at 1800 is different.
Yeah, and a big old diesel engine, 8-cylinder diesel engine. No, it was 8-cylinder diesel engine, and. Luckily, when he went and got the repair part, he got a second part because he only did it again across the coast of Honduras. So it was like really in at the deep end. It was such an amazing trip.
You should have been the captain, not the engineer, for God's sake.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I had the best trip. 4 months in Acapulco.
Was this a wealthy family's yacht, or was this a rental service? Or
no, this was an old boy here. He owned a bunch of Sherman Oaks, like I mentioned.
Oh, that's what you said, yeah.
He owned a bunch of old people's homes. He was an old tribesman, him and his wife.
But you're taking him and the family out on the boat, right? It's not just you and the crew going from place to place.
No, what we would do is like we started off in Fort Lauderdale. We went to Miami. Then we were on our way to Cozumel. I'm halfway across the top of Cuba. We break down again. We can't steer it. Now we're going around in circles. I am the sickest.
Cuba is not a place you can just pull in.
Yeah, you can't just pop over and say, give us a minute. Actually, you could. You'd be surprised.
Really? It's okay.
I'm sure. So anyway, I'm sick as a dog. I am so green. My first day out at sea, I don't want to be there. This is the worst place in the world. What am I doing here? I keep throwing up, and I'm having the worst time. I'm laying down now at the stern of the boat, down in the cruise quarters. We got this bed that runs across the back of the boat, and I'm laying on it, wanting to die. And then the captain comes running down, pulls me off the boat, pulls me off the bed, pulls the mattress out of the way, pulls all these panels up, and underneath is the steering. I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "We've got no steering."
Oh, but there's some sort of manual access point underneath your
you've got
bunk.
the 2 rudders because it's a twin rudder. It's a twin screw boat, so there's 2 rudders. So I was laying on top of the steering linkage.
Got it.
I mean, I didn't break it. It wasn't nothing to do with me sleeping there.
Right.
But, so
that's funny. What happened to the steering? Tony took a nap.
So we had to call the Coast Guard. Mayday, mayday. My first night out on a ship. Mayday, mayday.
And you're already sick.
And I'm
not
sick.
Feeling
I'm
it.
dying.
What did I do?
I don't want to ever be at sea ever again. This is the worst day of my life. What am I doing? So anyway, finally, what happens is we can steer the boat through like a tank, using motors. So that's what we did. We turned around and we're between Cozumel, which was our destination.
Your captain had to figure that out. And a lot of people only drive that way.
Yeah. And then our Key West. Where do we want to go? We want to get this boat repaired. So we took a bet that probably America's probably the best bet. So we turned around and it took us a few hours, and the Coast Guard was calling us every hour. How you doing? Progress. Give us your Latin long.
So, that's good. They would check in with you.
They would check in with us, and then we finally got in. And as we got into Key West, and we got in lee of the land, and it was calm, I started to feel a little better. My color started coming back, and then I felt initially when this was going on, I'm thinking, oh man, as soon as we hit land, I'm running and I'm never looking over my shoulder. I'm leaving my shit behind. I don't care. I'm running. I'm out of here. So what happened was, because I calmed down, I started to feel a little better, and I felt a little obligated to help fix the boat. So we went down, and what had happened is the two rudders, and they have a shaft, the rudder stock, and then it has a flange underneath that the rudders are attached to, and it had actually come unwelded. But luckily, the lower part of the rudder had a skeg on it, so it was held in place, so it didn't fall out.
Oh, it didn't fall off.
Didn't fall off.
Right.
So we repaired that, and it was really bad weather, so we couldn't go out to sea. So I kind of felt better, and I thought, well, let's give it a little bit more of a chance. So then one day we go out, and it's Oktoberfest.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Like the best time, the best weekend to be in
Key West.
In Key West, and then so we go out for lunch one day. Me, the captain, the stewardess, and the delivery captain, and we bump into 2 or 3 other crews of yachts. And the yachting world in Florida is mostly very British, same as Europe as well. They just like the British. It's like we're all admirals or something. I don't know what it is. It's so retarded. So we sat down and had this lunch with all these people, and everybody was swapping stories. Like one had worked on the Henry Ford boat, and all these other rich people around the world, and they were.
This is like Titanic, all the old money conversion.
Yeah, all the money, and this is the underground,
Right,
the lower end, whatever
steerage.
We're all steerage. We're all having a chat about it, and I started thinking, man, I want to be part of this. I want to get in on this adventure. So I just said, you know what, I'm going back to sea. I'm determined to overcome seasickness, and I did, and I had the best time.
How long did it take for you to overcome, and then how long did you do this boat thing total?
So it was about a week or so.
All
I could live on was Gatorade.
Oh, the
powdered
electrolytes.
Yeah, powdered Gatorade, just living on that. And then finally got to the point where I could be in a big sea and I could be munching something down, which I didn't think it was possible. But
otherwise it would just come up.
It would just be so. But yeah, I really got... We missed Cozumel, unfortunately, so we ended up down in Belize. And then for the boat, the captain said that the owner liked to scuba dive. So he says, oh, do you mind getting your scuba license? I says, well, not really. I mean, it's part paid to do it. Why not grab an extra feather for the hat? So
and also you're gaining an experience that you can use the rest of your life.
So my first dive is Belize, the second largest barrier
private yacht.
the second largest barrier reef in the world. It's like, hello. And my job was to keep with the owner and have a little paddle about with the geezer. So yeah, it was.
You're kind of Forrest Gumpy too, where you kind of find yourself in these amazing situations. That's me too.
It's never ending. It's never ending. It's just being open. If you're just open to everything, you know.
Yes, man.
And smile a lot. If you smile at people, that's the initial thing you need to do, you know.
You're walking around like this all the time.
Yeah,
people aren't going to say hello to you. You're not going to open a lot of doors.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I tell you something, little secret thing here. So, I ship cars around. And when we ship,
let me tell you something. I knew that.
when we ship a car out at the airport, when it goes out, it has to be checked by customs. So we have to put it on the property inside the bonded warehouse, and then.
It's not like a Freeport or something, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just at the airport. So
okay.
They have to check it there. But the other day I was dropping the car off, and I was a bit held up because there were some other people dropping a lot more cars off in front of me. So the guy came in and he goes, "Where's the car?" I said, "It's on the back of my truck." He came out on the back of my truck, looked at it, he said, "Promise me you're taking it inside." I went, "I promise you." He signed it off, which is something really illegal.
You mean like, because theoretically
it's not on the bonded property. So,
yeah.
Wow. Because I smile at the guy and I treat him well, you know.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
And you have Nexit.
I think that helps a lot, you know. I really get my way around the airport. It's really fun, but I treat everyone as equals, you know. I never above anybody, you know. So
you've been that way since the day I met you, and I'm assuming it's probably all of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that part of your philosophy too?
Yeah. Well, because I'm inferior, so I wing my way through things, you know.
I don't know if I agree with the wordage that you use, but I definitely understand because fundamentally that's how I did it.
Yeah,
too.
You have the lack of confidence and you just wing it all the time, and
you find yourself in situations and somehow you make it through them. And then you get that experience for next time.
Yeah.
You, like Forrest Gump, find yourself in these crazy, amazing situations. I'm for sure the same way. Later on in life, now you're into cars. Were you into cars always?
Always,
Because
yeah.
my dad gave me a remote control truck when I was a kid too. Lorry truck when I was a kid, and that is, I think, what got
I grew up
me
in a
into all
garage.
that
My dad
stuff.
was a mechanic, so as a kid, I grew up in a garage.
Okay, so then after you're done with the boat thing and you're in America, you go, I want to get into cars, or how did that?
So
all
no, what happened was we're at sea for 8 months.
Oh wow, you really did.
Oh yeah, what we would do, we
Right
we
in,
came down
holy
Florida, we came out, we didn't make Mexico unfortunately, so we end up in Belize. We go down to Belize, and at the base of Belize there's a river called Rio Dulce, and then you go into Rio Dulce, and there's a great big lake like Isabella. One side is Honduras, one side is Guatemala, and the other side is British Honduras. And there's a little village there little town called Livingstone that you could only get to by boat. At that time, I'm sure they probably put a road
Livingstone?
in by Livingstone. It's a little, and it was all old Spanish. There was all like armaments there and stuff like that. And there used to be a chain across the river. It was all part of the Spanish Armada stuff. You know?
Sure.
So went down there, and then we came along the coast of Honduras. We were going to go down the coast of Nicaragua, but we were told that it was pirates, so we ended up going down to this island called San Andreas. It was once British, but now Colombian. It was idyllic. I mean, it was...
San Andreas is Colombian now?
San Andreas, a little island off
island,
the Nicaragua, it's Colombian. But we did a 28-hour journey from the corner. Like I said, he'd broken the starter motor once before. The second time was we were leaving the Rio Dulce, which is in the little, as Belize comes down and Honduras goes down in the corner, there's this river. So we're leaving, and he wants to leave at 12 at night. And I'm saying, surely there's a sandbar there. Surely we knew
Tides.
that. Sorry,
We're worried about tides.
we knew about the sandbar. I said, surely 12 o'clock is not a good time. We can't see where we're going. Blah blah blah. No, we're fine. We go out a little bit, and all of a sudden we're just stuck on a sandbar.
You're
And the
just sitting
boat's just
there.
actually rocking from like this. And I'm thinking the water's going to go down low enough we would roll over.
Yeah, it's
but
not a flat bottom boat.
no, it's not.
Right.
It's a curvature to it. So, but anyway, we finally go off in the morning, and what does he do? Breaks the
No,
starter.
jeez.
But at this time, funny enough, I'd gone, because we'd been in this Livingstone for about a couple of weeks, I think it was, 2 or 3 weeks we were there. Because the owners, what they would do is they would fly in, spend a couple of weeks on board, and then fly off. And then we would spend the next couple of weeks getting to the next port.
So you would
country.
ferry from place to place,
Yeah, they would
fly in.
There would
and
be
just
3 to
use the
4 of
boat
us on the
there.
boat at any one time.
That's how you do it at that level.
If we were doing a long journey,
Yeah.
we would get a delivery captain come with us so to
Right.
break it all up.
Hire Captain Ron, right?
Yeah, exactly. So,
Well, yeah, boss.
That's all I can think of.
We watched that movie the other day. I love that movie.
yeah, I worked on that boat.
What?
Yeah, in Newport Beach. Yeah.
Are you serious? Hilarious! What a small world.
Yeah, really.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
so I arrived. Finally arrived in California in 1990, and sorry,
about this-
91. Sorry,
Oh, yeah,
91.
right, yeah.
So it was a year.
Oh, so you got here on the boat? Like
I came by boat. Yeah.
Hilarious!
Yeah.
Hilarious! You flew to this country and then you boated all around South America.
Yeah, we
and
went
then you
down
got
through
up
the
to
Panama
California.
Canal, and then went through the canal up to Costa Rica. Stayed in Costa Rica, the most amazing meal I've ever had in my life.
But my point is, you've never like driven across country or whatever or not at least at that time.
Not at that time, I hadn't. So, wow. Yeah, so I have Costa Rica, then Acapulco, and then I got stuck in Acapulco for 4 months, which was really miserable. You know, it's just the worst place in the world.
I feel like there's a little bit of sarcasm here.
Yeah, no, it was really great. Yeah,
You were a
Amazing
young
time.
kid, right? So there's a lot
I was
of,
a young kid.
A lot of what you're looking for.
I
is
met
there.
this young English girl. We played around for a bit, and she was staying around. She was staying in this house.
I don't have a Chiron for euphemism, but I think that was a euphemism.
She had her 2 brothers with her, her mum and dad.
What the?
And we really held off. We spent 3 weeks together.
Wow.
Ended
They
up
had
having-
no problem with your class.
No, so I ended up having Christmas dinner with them in Acapulco. My first Christmas away from England
Was in Mexico.
was in Mexico, Acapulco, with 18 people, 1 American, the rest were British.
Whoa,
And we had
no
a full
kidding.
English, full-on roast dinner, all the trimmings. We had a treasure hunt during the day. It was surreal, you know. In
That's
Acapulco,
amazing.
you
Did
know?
they do Boxing Day the next day and all that stuff?
Oh,
or-
yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
So we spent a couple of weeks with them, and we had New Year's Eve there. What it was, that the parents were teachers in Mexico City. and he was an art teacher, the father, and one of his very dear artist friends owned this beautiful home in Acapulco. It was 3-tier looking over the bay.
Gorgeous.
Just, idyllic. So they were.
You're right. It didn't suck.
Yeah. So they stayed there every Christmas, and so I just bumped into her one Christmas, and we had fun, and we went to Acapulco. I went to Mexico City with them, and it's the best time.
It sounds amazing. Do you keep in contact with anybody from that family? I know that was years and years and years ago, but did you after? No. Okay. No. All right. So 91. You're in. Did you say San Diego, L.A.? Where did you?
San Diego, came to Marina del Rey.
Get out.
And Marina del Rey, yeah.
So you ended up where you are now via boat, and you've been there ever since, dealing in cars.
Yeah, so I ended up staying in boats. So I arrived
did you used to live in the marina, like on a boat in the marina?
I lived on a boat for 3 years, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Where were you and what kind of boat?
I was in Dolphin Marina and Tahiti Marina.
I know it, yeah.
Little Owens, it was a 28-foot Owens. 1960 wooden boat, really cute.
28 foot is fine for one person.
One person.
That's plenty of room.
I had a bird at the time, but you never lived with me. Yeah,
came and went. Yeah. You want to sleep on the boat or come to my place? Yeah, whatever.
Wow. Where is that in the marina?
And so funny enough,
off of Fiji or.
There's one off Fiji and one off
fingers.
Tahiti Way. Yeah,
Tahiti Way.
Okay.
It's right across from where we met at your old place. She used to live at
down
that
where
Archstone.
the
Fisherman's Village.
No, that sushi place. What is it called now? It's long gone.
There were
one was what's that place? I can't believe I've gone blank on that. Cheesecake Factory.
Cheesecake Factory is not there anymore.
No, that is. But there used to be a Japanese sushi place.
There was
a Cheney place. I can't think. There was 2 of them or 3 of them, maybe more.
No, you're right. But that was out of business even the whole time I lived there.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah, it was.
I've been there so long. I guess it's 30 years.
It looked all ornate and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
I moved there in 2000, 2001, something like that, and it was already shuttered.
Yeah, I'd long gone by.
There was a chart house down there too. Used to be. I don't know
Chart
if it's
house,
still there.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's probably gone too.
Yeah.
Is Cheesecake Factory still there or no?
I think it is. I live around the corner.
Do you remember? Since you've been there that long, I used to every single Sunday, like a ritual, would go to a place called. Oh my God, what's it called now? It's funny because it used to. There was another one in Malibu Village.
Oh, another one.
Casa Escobar. It was called Casa Escobar.
Okay, yeah.
And it was across from the Marina Marriott, and now it's another hotel or something.
Yeah,
but it used to be like a small hotel and a nice restaurant. Not a nice restaurant, but a big Mexican restaurant. Did you ever do
the
that?
marina's changed completely now since I left. I remember it, Casa Escobar. Yeah.
Kaifuni's gone. We know that.
Oh,
the sushi place. That was my favorite.
That's where I met Matt Farah.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a secret place of all the locals there. Everybody who was in that neighborhood was there all the time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
What about, is Baja still there? Baja Cantina? And
new owner, but...
new owner.
Still there, yeah. I saw the owner up at Pebble. He's a good mate of mine.
Is the other Baja is the same?
Was, not now. Oh. He just owns the one up in Carmel.
I gotcha. And then I'm trying to think of all the other places. C&O Trattoria?
That's gone. End of Washington.
Really?
Yeah.
They didn't make COVID?
Didn't make COVID, no.
No, that's
Is the other one still open, I read?
C&O Cucina further up the road?
Yeah, the one up the road still there.
The Rat Pack Bar and all that?
Yeah, that's still there.
When in fact, you'll remember this. Remember when 26 Beach was down at the end of Washington? When it was 26 Washington?
Yeah.
So do I. Nobody remembers that.
Yeah.
Well.
I've seen a menu from that time.
Well, no, because it's still around. It's just it moved up. It's 26 Beach, but it's not 26 Washington anymore. It's up by the other C&O Trattoria. Sorry, I loved your area. I love living there. I lived there for years and years. I know,
it's weird. When I was married, I lived in Santa Monica for a minute, but that's the furthest I've ever lived away from the marina.
Marina I like because it's just so laid back. Everyone on the peninsula, nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah,
it's all old-timey people.
Yeah, I love it. I love living there.
Do you want to talk about where you live, or you want to skip that?
I live in the marina.
No, I mean... behind the whaler, that specific place. You don't want to talk about that? Magnus told me to ask about it.
Oh, he did? Yeah.
You, when you first started coming up to Breakfast Club, there's a guy who's been coming for a long time, and one day when you left and drove away, our friend said, man, that guy is so cool. Every time he's here, that guy reminds me of Sex Pistols. He's just the Sex Pistols. He's got the whole thing. It's just, that's who he is. And I was like, wow, do you know anything about him? And he's like, no, it's just the vibe he gives off. And I was like, do you know that he literally lives in Johnny Rott's house? And that he's literally friends with, I mean, like this, you couldn't be more on the money.
I remember someone saying that, but no.
Yeah. So when we were, the first time we ever talked, you said that you lived down there, and you told me where you live. I was like, I know exactly where that is. We used to freaking hang out at the Whaler all the time, and sometimes if you recall, I don't know if it was because, but people would end up there afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back when I was hanging out down there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
back in the day,
it was a party house.
Yeah.
Before you lived there, probably.
Yeah, long before me. Yeah. No, it's a hardcore party house.
Oh my gosh! All right, well, so you get back to California. How do you get back into cars? You were
that
into
was
cars
that
as a
was
kid.
quite a while because I actually arrived in '91. Didn't know what I was going to do. I floated for 6 months because I had made all this money at sea. Because you're at sea, you can't spend it,
Yep.
and then all the expenses are paid. So when you do go out on land, you still don't have money to spend. It's someone else's.
And your room and board is on the boat. You're all covered. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, and they even said to me when I was in Acapulco, which is really a strange thing to ask, oh, where do you want to go for your holiday? You can go on holiday. I'm in Acapulco working.
Yeah.
So I go back to London.
Did you really? Hilarious.
2 weeks. I know everyone hated me because, like, I'm going back to work in Acapulco. Whereas everyone at that point, that was at the time of the first Gulf War. So everyone thought,
91, yeah.
I went there second week of January.
That's
everyone
when it all
was like-
happened.
well, like I was first week then, because when I was leaving, that was when it was all kicking off, and so I was going back to work in Acapulco. I was blonde, blue-eyed, pocket full of cash, loving life. All my
Off
friends,
to Mexico.
My friends just got over Christmas, and it was freezing. They're all skint, and they all thinking they don't want to go to Afghanistan. And I missed that war when I finally got back to civilization after being down in South America, Central America. There was the coming home parades.
From really?
So I never
So
thought...
you skipped the whole thing?
I skipped the whole thing.
Well, that's
I just
nice.
didn't
That was a short
participate.
one, though. That was only
That
like
was
a
only
year and a
short
half
one,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
That was only 6 months, wasn't it?
Maybe, yeah.
I think it was only 6 months.
Desert Storm, they called it at first. It wasn't a war. It was Operation Desert Storm. The Gulf, they didn't call it a Gulf War at first. I can't remember what it was.
It was yellow, is all I remember, because everyone in my neighborhood had shit up.
You get a yellow ribbon. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
tell a
right,
yellow
yeah,
ribbon
yeah.
around the tree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so 1990
crazy.
I arrived, and then 91 I arrived. But so what I was doing, I took some time off. I bought myself a Porsche, bought a little 914. Sweet little thing, paid cash for it. It was lovely, red, black interior. And someone had told me that they had questionable fuel lines. And even though I was a mechanic, I didn't have the ability to fix it. I didn't have any tools or a lift or anything. And so I go and put it in a shop and have it all completely done. New hoses, brilliantly.
Okay.
So one night, I'm living down in San Pedro at the time, and I'm up in at the King's Head in Santa Monica with my friend, the guy I live with, and he was drunk on Guinness. We're driving home.
The King's Head or the Ye Old King's Pub?
The Old King's Head.
Is that what
Santa
it's called?
Monica
Ye Old
on-
King's Head?
Yeah, Ye Old
I always
King's
thought it was
Head,
Ye
yeah.
Old King's Pub. But anyway,
The
I got
Old
it.
King's Head. So we're driving back down 105, on the 405. Thing starts coughing a bit. Well, it's a bit weird. What's going on? It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I made the transition onto the 110, and it makes this big cough. I look behind me, there's a big ball of flame. Oh, what the hell's that? So I quickly pull over, wake Chris up. Chris, wake up, the car's on fire. And we get out, and the flames are licking up under the seals.
Once you stopped.
Because it must have been the line from back and forwards to the engine. So we jump out, and we're standing there, and this thing's burning up, going crazy. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, Saturday night.
On the
are
110, going to San Pedro.
on 110. So luckily there had been some road work, so there was 2 lanes that were cordoned off. So luckily I was able just to roll straight into them lanes. And there was 30 odd people around. There was all these flashing lights. There was police. There was all this commotion. Then there was nothing. Everyone just disappeared. And my friend and I were standing next to this black blob going, well, what the fuck just happened there?
So everybody came, and then they're like,
Yeah,
well,
it
we
was
can't
2
do
fire
anything, so they all
trucks
just left.
because it was the magnesium in the gearbox. The thing was popping and parting, and it
Oh,
took
I
a
get
bit.
your point. They put it out.
They
and
put
then
it out,
just
and everyone
left.
just left.
Like,
Okay,
good
stay
luck
here
with
for
that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, cheers. See ya. I was like, what the? Welcome to California. I'd only been there a couple of weeks, you know.
Thanks a
and
lot,
then
chap.
we're walking down the hard shoulder, walking back. We're only a few miles to where we're going to be home, and the car pulls over. Oh, you guys want to ride? Yeah. Oh, you got any gas money?
Holy crow.
Really?
Funny, fuel just, it was the end of
But
us
the
a few
crazy
minutes
thing is,
ago.
I got back to the next morning. I got a phone call from the captain because I'd left the boat at the time. He said, "Hey, we're making a delivery up to Seattle, and the current engineers in the hospital. Do you want to make the trip?" So I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I ended up making the money back from the Porsche.
Go pay for
yeah.
it. Were they able to fix the Porsche, or did it burn?
No, it was a black
totaled.
blob.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, in hindsight, it was a good thing because, well, not never. burning car's never a good thing, but especially that beautiful thing. I didn't even get a photo of it. I
Oh
still
my
think about it now. And go, oh man. But anyway, so the bloke I bought it from, he felt really bad. Even though it was nothing to do with him. I mean, he just sold me a car, and
It's weird that you went and paid to have it done, and then it still didn't. I mean,
I went back
that's
to the
where I
bloke
go.
that did it, and well, what do you do?
Right.
I couldn't sweep it up. We actually just walked away from it because it wasn't in my name at that time. I didn't want to be responsible for it. I'd already paid out a lot. I didn't want to pay out more to have the thing taken away. So I went and saw him, the old boy, and we ended up being friends, and I ended up working him for a while. And he ended up giving me, he felt bad, and he ended up giving me a Chevrolet Cavalier wagon.
Oh,
Woody, a brown one.
I've never seen that
pretty
car.
hideous.
Never seen that car.
It should have been way out. It should have been somewhere in the Midwest. It should never have been here. So so I ended up going out, and because I don't drink, I've never been really much of a drinker. I was a drinker on the boat. That's all you could do. I mean, in Acapulco, I got so sloshed. And after when I got to normality and civilization, I've not really been a big drinker. So I wasn't drinking, so I'd always drive. And at that time, it was 91, and that was the start of the rave scene in America. And I just left the rave scene in London from 87 to 90.
It's just getting here.
And I thought, oh, God, what a relief. I just got away from that. And all of a sudden it happens again. I went, oh, shit.
Pills and music, great.
Oh, shit. Be rude not to. So so I had to go at that. But the thing was, because I didn't drive and I was always sober, I became friends with everyone because I was driving around with a wagon. If I had the two-door car, I'd only have one mate. I'll probably no mates. We'd really no mates. So then I ended up being Mr. Popular. Because I don't mind driving people out. I don't mind doing things for people. So I would drive them home and take them home. And people would always remember that. They'd say, oh, I remember you took me home that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really nice. And, so I was more popular. Then I ended up being invited everywhere. So
because you were the ride home.
Because I was the ride home, yeah.
But still, it opened doors, I bet.
Absolutely. It's good. So, so I played around with boats for a few years. I actually...
but how did you get into cars?
So I sold boats for... I repaired a sailboat from stem to stern. I was desperate for work, and I called my buddy up. He goes, oh, do you want to do a day work, $10 an hour? I said, yeah, I'll do that. I ended up working on this sailboat, ended up taking over the project and rebuilt it from stem to stern.
Whoa.
For 2 years. It was a brilliant job. The guy paid me cash. He let my parents stay on it when they visited.
Amazing.
He let me drive these Cadillac Eldorado, big 81
That's cool
DeVille
too.
thing. So I was, my parents thought I was a rock star when they came over, living in this beautiful boat on the marina. I did that for a couple of years. Then I got approached by a guy on the dock one day, and he said, hey, you ever thought about selling boats? So I ended up selling boats for 5 years. And sold boats.
In the marina?
In the marina. I sold boats from San Diego.
Like on the Fisherman's Village side?
No, I was on Tahiti Way.
Even there, just there
Charterhouse,
in
yeah.
the...
Well, I would live in on my boat. I would walk up the dock, walk onto my into my office, and I would go back to the boat, get changed, walk down the road to the gym.
Amazing.
And then I would walk around the corner to the market. I could spend a whole week without driving.
That's amazing. Because all the big, the brokers are over on the other side now.
Yeah.
Fisherman's Village. Wow, that's crazy.
See, I was where the ship store was, upstairs from there. And
Right.
my boat was right out front. So it was brilliant. I loved it.
Wow, that is a hell of a freaking deal.
So I sold boats for 5 years, and then I ended up working for a guy that wasn't that great, and I wasn't making any money. And then a mate of mine, Neil Thomas, who's another car guy, he called me one day and said, hey, Checkered Flag in the Marina Del Rey, the classic car dealership, is looking for a web guy. Can you do anything? Can you do web? So I went, oh yeah, of course I'll do that. So I went in that day.
Was it Neil's place back then?
Neil Jaffe's.
Yeah.
Still Neil's. Yeah, so...
Neil's JP, and is Tim still there?
Yeah. Well, JP was my other boss.
You're kidding.
JP, we'll go back to
Yeah,
about this.
but of
It's
course
really
I know
bizarre.
those guys.
Yeah, my old boss worked.
I've bought cars for other people.
My
from
old boss
Checkered
worked for
Flag.
my old boss.
So cool.
It's so weird. But this
Oh,
business.
you're kidding. She worked for...
No, JP worked for Neil.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I worked for JP.
Yeah,
I work for Neil.
Got it.
It's very ancestral, this business.
Got it.
Oh, the car community in general. Everyone knows somebody from somewhere.
Yeah.
So...
I'm sorry. I think I'm caught up.
Yes, I worked at the Checker. My mate said, can you do websites? I said, yeah, of course I can. So I went in that day and looked at the website. What the fuck?
When
But
did you
luckily,
start
there was a help menu, so I just went through the help menu and managed to pull in punters.
When were you starting at Checkered Flag? Like when
That was 99.
That's right around the time I was moving to the marina. And okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah, so 99. That's where I met Magnus. He came into the store.
That's where we met Magnus.
In Checkered Flag?
In Checkered Flag is where we met Magnus.
That's so bizarre.
Hilarious.
How weird is that?
He was there looking at a car. We were whatever. He was
Yeah,
looking
he
at a
used to
car
come
I
in
had
and
already
look at
driven.
cars, and then I
from
saw
them.
him again. A Barrett Jackson, 2000 Barrett
That's
Jackson
such a
was
small
the first.
world.
That's
such a weird small world.
I was
it was
just
like 7
thinking,
years ago.
I was just thinking that I connected him with that place. I
Yeah.
couldn't figure
Yeah,
out
yeah.
why.
So I worked there for
Small
many
world.
years, and then played around a bit at other locations around town. Been to loads of different car
God,
lots.
that's so cool. So I know that all right, I'm going to shift gears just for a second. When I originally asked you to do the show, you said, yeah, we'll talk about stolen Rolls Royces. Can we actually talk about stolen Rolls Royces?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
I want to know about stolen Rolls Royces.
So a mate of mine calls me. A mate of mine comes into town. He's ex-Formula One driver. He buys a place.
Can't drop a name because he's an ex-Formula One driver.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, an Irish old Formula One driver. So
Oh, I know who it is. Sure.
yeah,
Got it.
so he buys this house up in.
I'm not going to drop the name, but you can't say his name, or you just
Eddie
don't want
Irvine,
to.
no. So he
Oh, yeah.
he buys he buys a house up on Kings Road above Sunset.
Yeah.
He's dating Pamela Anderson, and he called me one day, and we'd been going out a few times, and we'd been discussing. He wanted a car for LA. You know, what should I get? Should I get a Bentley? Should I get a big Merc? A Rolls? So one day he calls me and said, "Look, get me a Phantom. Find a Phantom." All right. So I have a call around, and I find one down in Newport Beach. So it's $348,000.
And they won't swap it to Beverly Hills. You got to buy it there.
I called him up, told him the car is black, brand new, 2006. He said, all right, let's go down and get it. So we go down and get it. He writes a check. And I said, you know, you've got to get insurance. He said, well, I don't have a license. I don't have a US license. I don't have a US license. Shit. So I called my insurance company. I said, I got a bloke here, Rolls, 2006, blah, blah, blah. How much to insure it for 6 months? He said, $6,000.
Jeez, that's nothing.
Oh, that's way too much.
Oh, is it for a Rolls?
He says,
Sounds
he says, you got a California license. He says, see how much it will be for you. Oh, okay then. I call up. It's only $3,000.
That's huge.
He said, well,
Half
okay, yeah,
price.
we'll put the car in the company name. We'll put you on as a company director, and we'll do it that way.
So now you work
Happy
for Eddie
days.
Irvine.
So now I work for a fictitious company, you know.
Wow.
So anyway, a couple of weeks go by. Well, back a week goes by. He's enjoyed the car. We've gone out a couple of times, and had fun in it. And he calls me one day and says, "Hey, you got to come to the Hollywood police station. The car's just got stolen,
And it's in your name.
and it's in my name. You got
Right.
to make out the police report." And I wasn't feeling that good that night. I said, "I can't come." He goes, "No, you got to come. I'm leaving first thing in the morning." Right. So I ended up making the police report. I called the insurance company, but I realized as I'm talking to the insurance company, he's like interrogating me. I'm thinking, what's going on here? So anyway, long story short, I got the car back.
Okay. Had it disappeared temporarily?
Had disappeared. No, it'd gone. So what happened was a kid had
Something
come in,
is amiss.
No, so a kid had come into the dealership down in Newport Beach and said, "Hey, I'm looking for the owners of this car," which is kind of a ballsy move. So the dealer calls me and said, "This kid's come in looking for the owner, looking for you guys." I said, "Really?" I said, "Give me his number." So I give him his number. Someone in the valley. I go and meet with the guy, and he tells me where the car is, and I basically just go and get the car back.
Holy smokes! Was it
A
like
mafioso situation.
Well, I was going to ask, was it that, or was it a
No,
like
it
you
was
got
a
to
very
pay to get
scary
it back?
situation.
But was it a hot?
Oh no! I just went in there with my London big mouth to give my fucking car back. I actually called the police, and the police arrived. But the guy that had the car was so ballsy, he sent the police away.
Yeah, that's a
And
move.
then he pulled me. He goes, "Come on!" And he started apologising to me, saying, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steal the car, but I didn't know the car was." No, he's first telling me he didn't know the car was stolen. He came out with this whole cock and bull story, but for some reason he gave it back to me, and I didn't end up dead. I spent 8 hours with the geezer.
Unbelievable.
I should have been dead.
So the whole thing, he calls you, the car is stolen, it goes missing, and then the dealership calls you, says, "Hey, this guy," and you call the guy, and he says, "I bit off
He's a
more than I
snitch.
could chew.
He's a snitch.
This isn't what I intend." Ah, that's
He's
what
a
I'm getting.
snitch.
So he's
No,
looking
he's
for
a
little,
snitch. Because
He's
on
looking for
the
a payoff?
report on the report of sale it says Mustang Ranch LLC. Mustang Ranch.
That was the name of your.
my
that was
buddy.
the name of the.
That's the name of the company.
Isn't that
my
the Bunny Ranch or whatever?
Yeah, it is. And the funny thing is, my buddy didn't know that. His other friend set it up for him as a joke.
Oh my
He
god!
didn't even know what it was when he first got
Hilarious.
it. So,
Hilarious.
That's awesome.
No, he lost me train of thought with it.
Oh my God, I'm sorry. So you met, that's the guy you met. I can't believe how that all happened. So it's probably a ring of like, oh yeah, well that's a big car. We usually get something for that.
So the kid came in and told me where the car was. So I went over and it was in a body shop in the valley, and
that's where you would keep it.
Yeah. They were going to cut it up, but
yeah. But is it because it was Eddie Irvine's car? That
No, they were going to. You didn't want to stole it for. The guy told me they were going to make body molds for a Chrysler 300.
And make it look like a
shit. Yeah, and then they were going to cut the car out when they were finished.
Wow! But make a bunch of fiberglass molds so that you can make 300s look like Phantoms.
So
hilarious.
Some bloke reckons he wants to make a movie about it, so we'll see.
Well, it's about a good story, but what happened? You know what I mean? Like you got the car back, and then
I just
you'd have to embellish a little bit.
Yeah, I just hung out with this guy, and I told him I wanted the car back, and he said the car wasn't here, and basically he stalled me for 6-7 hours because the car was in pieces and he was putting it back. He had a team of guys putting it back together.
Hilarious! You were not supposed to come today. You were supposed to come tomorrow.
Yeah. But I was ballsy. I wasn't taking no shit. You know.
Yeah.
I don't really get scared by too many people.
Is it because you were in fights and stuff when you were a kid, or just you've seen it all and you know that it's all bullshit?
If you die, you die. I mean, it's
what are we fighting for?
Yeah.
None of this is real anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So
you're such a Buddhist. It's great.
But the mad thing is, so I get the car back. So I'm there about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. I don't get the car back until about 8:30 that same night. So then we leave. I leave in the car. Basically, it's in the body shop, and when I go in, it's in this big double booth, spray booth, and all the panels in the boot are all disarray. There's wires hanging out. They were trying to. I think they were he told me they were looking for the GPS, but the car doesn't have a GPS because when it was stolen, I called Rolls Royce and said, "Hey, I've got a Rolls Royce stolen. Can you track it for me?" And they said, "Sorry, sir, we don't have a tracking service."
In our $350,000 car,
you can buy a 40 grand Beamer and it's got a tracking, but this doesn't. I said,
I guess they figure you can afford low jack.
Well, they said, oh, nobody's ever stolen a BMW, sir. I said, well, they have today. But anyway,
Rolls Royce.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what did I say, BMW? So, it is a BMW. It's a Freudian slip. No, it's still are.
Oh, they are still?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a BMW V12 in there.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The only thing that replicates that engine to the original engine is a 6.75 displacement.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's the only thing that
carries over.
That mirrors, the original car. Yeah.
So what's your favorite car to drive? Do you have a favorite?
I don't. It's hard to say. It's like I love Ferraris. I love Porsches. I've always owned BMWs. I'm on my 20th BMW.
I had tons and tons of BMWs too, and I had like the ones like you have too. Your E92 is a great
E90.
Car. Sorry, E90. I had the E92, but the E90 series is a solid platform.
Phenomenal.
If you like a V8 that you have to wind the fuck up, and you don't mind watching the gas just go down like
this.
That's
the thing. I've never had a car with quarter of a tank the bloody warning light comes on.
If you have fun with it at all.
Yeah. It's half a tank to Breakfast Club.
Yeah. That sounds about right. The sounds it makes are amazing.
It's worth it. Totally worth it.
You can't replicate that.
No, not at all.
And then the Volvo too. You were doing work on the Volvo, or you?
Yeah, that's 2.02.
Is that? Oh yeah, that's right. Yellowcar 2.0.
Yellowcar 2.2.
Is it 850?
It's an 850 T5R. I'm currently doing the cam belt on it, water pump. I'm gonna do what else am I gonna do? Oh, the shocks, and I just bought some fat anti-roll bars.
Oh, really?
Sway bars, you call
them.
Oh,
are you going to make this into like a...
Well, no, I just want to get to Breakfast Club safely.
That's what I mean.
The last time I went, I got seasick.
And you know how long that's been. Wow. All right, well, that's cool. And then Porsche. You like Porsche?
I love Porsches. I used to run a car lot on Beverly Boulevard for JP.
Oh, okay.
On Beverly and Crescent Heights.
He loves to talk about the old lot he used to have. Is that the place?
Yeah. And
before he worked for Tim and
talk
for
about surreal
Neil.
moments. So I remember watching. I said earlier that I love chips.
Yeah.
I remember one particular episode where this couple was going up to fancy restaurants, and when someone would pull up in a Rolls Royce, they would pretend to be the valet and steal the car.
I remember that one too.
So I remember that
it was a
clearly.
theft ring.
The theft ring. There was a scene where they were being chased, and they're being chased down Sunset Boulevard, and they end up pulling onto a lot full of Rolls Royces.
No.
So I freeze framed it and went over with my magnifying glass and it was JPD Motors, which is JP, Jean-Pierre Delerme. That was his lot. So I'm watching as a kid in the 1970s my former boss's business.
It was the A team for me. I love the A team.
Okay, yeah.
And one day at Breakfast Club, up at Newcomb's, this is when they were open. There was a whole group of people over on the side, and for some reason they brought the tape or something. They put on the A team while we were at Newcomb's instead of like whatever's on in the morning, and we thought, oh, that's kind of funny and weird and whatever. And as this went on, this was from Europe, I think from Belgium. This was an A team like fan club, whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they had come to Newcomb's because they shot a whole episode of the A team there.
Oh, wow.
And you see the big van out front, and the whole thing is up and down the street, and at the cabin across the street, and when they. It doesn't matter. So many famous A-team moments were shot up at Newcomb's in this thing. And it was the same moment that you had then, when it was like, this was this impressionable thing, and we found this place on our own. And here's where the story gets a little interesting. And then I'll throw it back to you. These guys, these what did I say? These Belgian guys come over to me. I don't know them through the A-team. I've never joined an A-team fan club, and I've never been to Belgium. But they come over to me and say, you're Jay Ryan, and we know you. The only reason this group knew that Newcomb's was the filming location was because of our little videos and postings that we do, and they matched it up. Somebody followed us randomly in Belgium, and then they matched it like, this is the place. This is the place we couldn't find for 16 years, or whatever. There it is. And then they did a pilgrimage across the goddamn world to come over to the place.
And then they get to meet you
and
on top of that.
And then we were there at
wow,
the
what
same time.
the highlight of their trip.
I don't mean that, but it was just crazy small world how it all happened. And it was the same moment, though, that you did. Like, what? This is incredible. It was so impressionable.
Yeah, I remember watching in 1975 a show called Skateboard Kings, and it was about all these Venice,
like the dogs of like the Dogtown,
Z-Dogs, Z-Boys, and I'm best friends with one of the guys in the video.
Really?
And it's so surreal. It's very surreal.
I guess it comes down to like Jay Leno and stuff. It's just like, we grew up watching that stuff or whatever, and then now we're friends with him and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I never grew up watching Jay Leno. That's the difference, Oh,
that's right.
He was an old white-haired guy when I first met him, and always been that way.
Well, that's probably good for you because then there's no pretense.
No, that's why I've been watching the old Letterman shows and thinking, wow, is that the same bloke?
But don't change. Don't change.
No, not at all. Yeah.
There's a thing about fandom and friendship.
Yeah.
And it's a weird fine line.
Absolutely.
You hang around some people and then like everything's cool, and then the one day you like, hey, can I get a picture? And it's like, well, you can be a friend or a fan. Which one do you want to be?
Yeah.
And I think it's hard for a lot of people to, navigate. And I think maybe because you were saying before, like you treat everybody the same. Maybe it's very easy for you.
Yeah, very easy.
Celebrity. You're around a lot of rich people. You're around a lot of famous people. You're around a lot of
it's surreal at
insanely
times.
well-known car people.
Yeah. It's surreal the encounters I've had over the years. I was at a party one time. It was a guy called his father's James Caan.
Oh, Scott Caan.
Scott Caan.
Yeah.
I was at Scott's house one night watching a boxing match, and
that
Bruce
whole
Willis,
family's into that.
Bruce Willis just came. Hey, I'm Bruce. How you doing? I said, really? Hey, how you doing, mate?
Was this out here?
Yeah. Up at his house up on off a lookout.
Oh, that's funny.
Whatever it's called. Yeah.
He lived in the town next to me when I was in high school.
Did he really?
Him and Demi Moore.
I sold his
Ridgefield.
I sold his very first car.
You're kidding?
It was a yellow Chevy Nova.
Hilarious.
He'd owned from when he was 18 until when I sold it, which was I sold it in about 90. I don't know how old he is, but I sold it in 2005.
Funny.
So he was in his 30s then, so it was a good 10 years he'd owned this car.
It's amazing. Yeah. Wait, he was in his 30s? Oh, Scott Caan.
Yeah, Scott Caan.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was back to Bruce Willis. I was like, wait a second, what? No way.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bruce Willis lived in the town I used to.
Not Scott Caan. I was
no,
going to say,
that
is really bizarre, Yeah, lost in translation.
Wouldn't it be funny if Scott Caan used to live with Demi Moore, though? That would have been something.
That would have been funny.
I would have visited more.
What? You were a recipient of the Magnus shoes. Do you wear them?
Yes, I do.
I wear them too.
Yeah. I didn't wear them today. Magnus has enough PR. I mean, I was.
Yeah, we don't need them today.
Yeah, there you go. And
regular shoes.
He gives me so much stick, and I'm coming from work anyway, so I wouldn't wear them at work because I'd get dirty. And I know his is all about the patina. I'm just trying to be.
Did I tell you what I did?
Go on.
I bought some white leather shoe paint that
you repainted them?
No, not yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
I'm going to let them go but I already don't like how far they've gone compared to how much I liked them when they were fresh. And it's like, well, I gotta, I'm thinking I might outlaw the outlaw and give it a respray.
Because I grew
know
up,
what I mean?
Because I grew up poor, I've always made things last. Yeah, I make things last, and they keep them in great shape. Like these shoes I bought these shoes. My boss bought them for me at Renspol.
But
how long ago was Renspol?
Because of the whole thing, yeah.
So 3 years ago.
But his don't just wear out. They're designed to wear out prematurely.
Oh, they are?
Not to wear out as a shoe, but they're
so
designed
you can buy another pair?
No, they're designed to patina. They're designed to wear
so
that it looks like 277.
Yeah, it was a great concept.
Nobody told you that part, I go. It's pretty cool. Well, keep wearing
Well, I
them.
did know about the underside being gold, like the real car.
Yeah.
That's why the white comes off and there's gold under.
Exactly. All right, so you do know that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking it looks so good, red, white, and blue.
Oh, the true colors.
Yeah, well, it's kind of funny because his whole thing, he loved Evil Knievel growing up.
Yeah,
so that's
me too.
a lot.
We all did. I mean, that was that
Americana, right?
Magnus and I are pretty close, the same age. He's a lot younger than me, but not by far.
But because of the Americana of it all, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The red, white, and blue, and let's go fucking cowboy this shit.
And
all
that's
that.
probably why the Martini thing is so appealing, because it's all that kind of white and the colors and
Yeah,
it's very good. But for us in Europe, the Martini, the cars, obviously the rally cars and the Porsches, but the umbrellas, that was just such Playboy, such an exotic thing.
Oh yeah, literally, gentleman driver.
Gentleman drivers,
for sure. What should we talk about that we haven't talked about? Like, is there anything that we should promote? Do you have anything coming up? You're not really that kind of guy. You're sort of secretive the way you do it. I wanted you here because I love you.
I'm just a regular guy, just working away.
Well, so people should follow you.
Today I took my very last Pebble Beach car. So how long ago was Pebble Beach? It was
2 weeks, 3 weeks?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2
No,
not 3 weeks.
4 weeks away. It was.
So you just got it.
The last car, yeah. So that's how busy I've been post Pebble. It's been crazy, flying stuff out, and we got stuff out. The shipping lines are not doing too great.
I want to ask you about that. The port there's more boats than ever before stuck at the Long
Well,
Beach.
the problem is
they
they introduced these COVID restrictions at for the dock workers. So you couldn't be too close. You couldn't have this many people doing this.
So it's slowing the whole process down.
Put a complete spanner in the works. Yeah, it's just retarded.
Bill Stein had sent us coilovers, and we were waiting like 2.5 months while they were stuck at the port. Not
I
the
was
whole
waiting
shipment,
for
I
was waiting for my IPD.
Same thing.
Bars.
Same thing.
They're waiting for them. Yeah,
So
I ordered them in March, and they came July.
So do you have? I mean, are there cars out there just waiting to come in?
I've got a couple of cars. I got a car
came
in today. I got a couple more cars coming in, but we haven't been doing. I got cars to go out, but we've been doing mostly air freight.
You fly the cars.
We fly cars. People don't want to take a chance on where's my car, because that's what happens, And we had a car that's supposed to have been here for Amelia Island, and it left in February and never arrived. Arrived a week after Amelia Island.
Wow.
Which is in
totally
May.
Missed it.
Yeah, totally missed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bummer. So with the air freight, not only does it get there so much sooner, but you know where it is at all times.
Yeah, you can track it, and it's only a matter of 3 or 4 days.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot more money. But, the type of cars that we deal with, it's relative anyway. So it's not really, it's insignificant.
Wow, that's so
A lot
wild.
of cars we put in crates, so they're fully
You mentioned
protected.
that the other day. So what does that look like? They just forklift a crate with a car in it?
Yeah.
So
It's
when
all
you
strapped
send the
down
Radford
inside.
cars, are those crated?
No, I just sent that on a pallet and just put our cover on it. I see Ant doing a piece today, so the car arrived okay, so that was nice to see.
The John Player Special.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Do you like the new Radford, the looks of it?
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
I think
good looking
really
car.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a looker, and hopefully it's going to have the performance. I think it said it was a Toyota V6 in it.
Well, it's whatever was in the Evora GT, I think, right? Isn't that the power plant?
Yeah, I
underneath?
thought they'd done.
I might be wrong about
I thought
that.
Jensen said it was going to be at least 6.
I would trust Jensen over whatever I thought.
Yeah.
You were funny, by the way. Was it Monterey? Where were you? Where you were walking someplace and
I was
then
walking
Ant
to
and
the-
Jensen pull like, hey, Bella, need a ride?
Well, I had taken the Gemera and the what was the other car I took? No, I just took the Gemera to the Koenigsegg party at Pebble Beach.
Oh, that's what it was. Pebble
And
Beach,
I had
Koenigsegg.
my truck, and I couldn't keep my truck at the party or on the house, so I kept my truck around the corner at the equestrian centre, and it was a good mile and a half to the party from the equestrian centre. So I was walking there, and then they just came along in that G-Wagon.
Need a ride?
Need a ride.
Not bad.
Which is quite funny, yeah.
when a Formula One driver pulls up next to you. Hey, need a lift? And you didn't need gas money for that one, right?
I didn't know gas money at all. That was a freebie.
Those
and
guys
then he ended up giving me a gig as well. So I'm trying to bring a car over for him.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
And
then obviously
they're going to be here soon.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, I
Back
can't
again,
remember when. Yeah, when they get back into town.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Talk all about that stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad I got the Radford gig to take the car over for him. That was nice.
I would imagine you'll have more, right? Because there are
Well,
a few
hopefully,
cars,
yeah,
and they will be doing a lot of PR.
We do a lot of the big cars. Like we bring in Paganis and Koenigsegg's and
So cool.
Bugattis.
We should probably mention at least cars there. The classic automotive relocation services.
So we're relocation services, but we also do storage. So I have a storage facility in Gardena, so I have a bunch of cars there that I get to play with. And
is that like just temp storage, or people could monthly store their
no,
cars
I've
with
had
you
cars
if they
that have
wanted
been
to?
there the whole time I've been there.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And you know, I'm a little bit more hands-on. I take care of the cars. You know, I'll start them up and run them forward and backwards and do the tire pressures and check all the fluids.
More than just keep the tender on it.
Yeah, more than keep the tender on it.
That's how you keep those cars actually running.
Yeah,
keep them
exactly.
lubricated.
And there's one client that has 4 cars with me, and he put me on his insurance so I can exercise them properly.
You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Yeah.
Bring one up to breakfast.
Yeah, he had for full GT. He said, "Can you put a smog on it for me? You got to put 100 miles on it." I went,
Oh, fine.
Frog.
It's probably about 100 miles up to Breakfast Club and back, right?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
He has a nice Zagato.
He's got a Zagato too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. 2017 Aston. Yeah.
I just think you're great. You did it. You did the time. We're done. Is there anything you want to say?
No, I want to thank you guys for having me on. It's been really surreal having. Like I feel like I'm actually on TV or something.
We're both so fond of you as a person, as a human being, that I'm grateful to share the space and energy with you.
Thank you.
You know I mean it.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't really known each other that long, but it feels like forever. It's so bizarre. I'm trying to think the other day how long did we meet?
I couldn't guess it was more than 6 months ago.
Probably not.
But I would say that I feel like I've known you the whole time I've lived in LA.
But that's the thing with energies. If you got that energy, you.
We have a lot of stuff
vibe.
in common too.
Absolutely.
So that may be part of
yeah.
it. How
Believe.
Are you doing? Amen. Right? Did everyone hear that? Hashtag believe.
Believe.
You should follow Tony Rackley at Tony Rackley.
Oh yeah, there I am. Hello, mate. I forgot I was there. Yeah, that's where it was the whole time.
Because I feel like I'm on TV. Oh wait, it actually is. Holy crap! What the heck is going on here? I don't even understand.
Oh,
it's funny, right? Isn't this crazy?
So much.
You're hilarious. So follow Tony Rackley. Does C.A.R.S have an Instagram?
C.A.R.S shipping.
C.A.R.S shipping.
Yeah,
Just C.A.R.S shipping. I could not.
Because we're a worldwide organisation. We're based in the UK, but we also have offices in Amsterdam, Dubai, Japan, and US. And we've just relocated our New York office down to Miami.
Oh. Your old neck of the woods.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to traveling down now.
And Robin was just on The Smoking Tire recently, too. So people should check that out as well. If you want to hear more about cars, go check out that episode of Matt Farah's Smoking Tire.
Yeah. We're a proper hands-on ship. We take care of your cars.
You take care of people. So I would trust you I would trust you with my baby, let alone my car, Our cars
what about a baby car?
Our car's our baby. I love you. Let's see. Tomorrow is not a GVBC. If you feel like heading out into the forest and you stay on the open roads, it is entirely possible that you would run across a GVBC pop-up. But it is not responsible to have a real GVBC and invite people up, so we can't do that. But if you're out there driving on your own volition, keep going a little further, and I guarantee you will find some friendly faces. That's all I have to say about that.
So it's going to be back on next week, yeah?
Yeah, we think so, because the restrictions are lifted midweek. Next week, midweek.
So
Friday should be in the clear.
Come up and have
that'd be fun.
Yeah, she can bring up something fun.
I'm guessing the first one back will probably be pretty big. I'm guessing. So
yeah,
exactly. Be a good one to see.
Probably have to make reservations or something.
Not you.
Be there the night before. Yeah, I'm here early, mate. I got a good spot.
Get your chair out, your little tea going, and everything. Tea or coffee?
Tea, mate.
Yeah,
tea,
good for you.
Absolutely.
Do you have a preference?
Tea.
Black tea, green
Black
tea?
tea, milk and sugar, mate. Yeah.
Milk and sugar too. So the full treatment, the full caffeine treatment. Well, that's nice.
I don't know. It's never affected me. I know they say caffeine. I'm not even familiar with that.
Supposedly the
To me,
black over
it's just
the
a
green.
word.
Oh, because you like the black.
No, caffeine is just a word to me. I don't know what it really means. So.
I see.
It's supposed to be some sort of picky uppy
Stimulant?
thing,
It
but
doesn't
I'm
affect you?
picky uppy enough, so I need a picky downy.
They make stuff for that too.
But I know, I enjoy it.
I love you. We love you.
Oh, I love you guys.
so very
Thank you
much.
so much.
And we all love you at home. Please love one another.
you guys. Love
Maybe
you too.
see you up at the Not GVBC tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. I can't remember what's going on next week, but we'll be back. We love you, and we'll see you then.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah, went on again.